frankly, American forms of dissent and free speech, and I support both of them. I support the right of students. So you think there's a difference between the black students at Yale protesting whatever, I forget what, questionable thing that professor said, and the conservative students in this case protesting. Go ahead. Now I'll stay for this. Let's hear it. Sunny. It just got sunny here after being snowy and cold all day. All right. I got to go, man.
I know. We'll keep it short. We'll keep it short.
And I do love your people. I have to tell you, can I just say that your people were very nice.
Well, thank you. You're being recorded right now.
I know. Okay. I'm just saying. Hi. What do you have a name for them? Are they the loud?
I think, what do we call them?
Crowders? Some of them are Crowder heads.
Well, listen, I do try and I disagree with you vehemently on some of these things, but I do try and I do take some pride in the fact that I think our audience is they're pretty decent people. I mean, you always get some people who are terrible.
I know, but overwhelmingly, I was very, very impressed. Let me also just say, I think we should do, the next time we do this, we should do it where we try to find, I don't know how many we can do, 5, 10 things we agree on.
Okay.
And I don't just mean like movies, I mean politically, because I actually suspect there's more than you think.
Well, I think we do.
I mean, I think we all agree on more.
We all agree on some stuff.
I think most people can agree on 90% of issues. The problem is that politically and media-wise and whatever, and internet-wise, we fight on that 5 or 10%.
Well, here's one thing that we run into. We're not nearly as, if people who actually watch the program, we're not nearly as divided across political lines. However, I am far more straightforward in having you on where I'll say, no, I disagree with that, and we're just not going to find common ground there, whereas a lot of people who say, oh yeah, and they shrink when they get on the cable network and they go back to the radio show and bitch like they're a tough guy. I try and keep it the same across the board. So
you keep it 100 all the time.
I keep it real all the time, bro. I keep it so real you don't even know, bro. I keep it real like your Christmas tree. I don't have no evergreen fakes they get from Flowerland. I bought my tree from Flowerland. That's why.
Did you really?
Yeah, Flowerland.
Is it a fake tree?
Yeah.
My tree is a real tree. I just want you to know that.
I know.
My Jewish tree is a real tree.
Outdone by the Jew again.
Outdone by the Jewish.
My partner's Christian, so I mean, it's like it's a. What I was about to say, bipartisan tree.
You're very close with your business partner.
It's a multi-religious tree.
We're going back to the free speech issue
here. Oh yeah.
Okay, that kid has the right to record that professor. That professor, given completely false and slanderous attacks on Donald Trump, that he's a racist, he's a xenophobe. If she said, listen, Donald Trump is hypocritical because of A or B policies, fine. That's not what this professor said. Student recorded it, released it, then threatened by the professors' union to expel him. Now, some individuals after that sent death threats to this teacher. We've dealt with actual death threats. We've actually dealt with FBI's counterterrorism unit, so we don't talk about it a lot.
As have I.
But yeah, I definitely think that the censorship of free speech in that situation would be exclusively on the shoulders of the left.
I think that's fascinating, considering it was the right that sent the death threats and forced the teacher into hiding. But why do we have to pick sides on this? In other words, why can't we, wait a second, why can't we say,
the professors' union, they're the ones with the authority, and they're the ones claiming, they're trying to systematically silence and intimidate voices. I'm not talking about Twitter users with an A saying you suck.
To be clear, every other conversation I've had about political correctness and free speech under attack supposedly under attack from the left, accusations that you and your fellow conservatives have made are about students and non-institutional actors from the left, and they represent the left trying to clamp down on free speech. No. Well, I'm that's just true. The 3 or 4 college discussions I've had have on this topic have all been focused on that angle. So
it's not though. It's not though. It's not true, because our issue is with professors' unions. Our issue is with the dean of admissions. Our issue is with student organizations banning other speech, not sending individual threats. And by the way, I don't even know that I believe these death threats. The left always claims death threats.
It's also about the student groups or the students, individual students organizing protests and shouting down speakers and all of that. So I'm just saying the critiques haven't just been institutional. But Stephen, the larger point is,
no, that is the larger point.
But
that is the larger point. It is the left. They're not just saying we don't like you. They're going to get people banned, whether it's Ben Shapiro or myself or Milo Yiannopoulos. They're not just saying we don't like you. That's what conservatives do. It's the leftists who get the professors' unions and the dean and the student unions and try and get words banned. That is the big point, Sally.
I'm against it. So that's my point here is I'm saying, but why do you want to make this a partisan issue when I would think this would be something we could unite around? I believe in free speech. We should support free speech. By the way, disconcerting is also President elect Trump saying he's going to change libel law to crack down on journalists who say things he doesn't like.
I completely agree.
This is all, we should be against all of this.
So
we
are
should
you
be
against
something
the
about free
professors
speech.
union
So
who did
I
that?
can be against the professors and student groups attacking free speech. I can be against hate mongers and conservative student groups, trying to clamp down on speech too. I also want to be clear. I support, but I do.
No, but
do.
They never do. I'm saying conservatives don't try and shut down free speech on campus. It is a partisan issue if it's only one side doing it. So I just said I agree with you on Trump and the libel thing. Would you agree that the professors union? Let's see. Would you agree the professors union was wrong in threatening the student for releasing this tape of the teacher? Would you agree they were wrong?
I probably would. Yes.
Okay,
I think. Yeah. So again, I haven't looked at the details of like why and what they were claiming, whatever, but instinctively, I think that's wrong.
Good.
I remember when Yale students were protesting against, I don't remember what the dean of one of the colleges had said something. This was like 6 months ago. And the Yale students were protesting and calling on that professor to be fired. And I recall being on conservative radio shows where they were attacking the students for doing that the students are clamping down on free speech, that they're trying to police speech on the campus.
Yes.
So it seems to me that if you're going to make that accusation, you're going to have to make the same accusation about the conservative political group and the young Republicans at this campus going after this professor. Now, I happen to think both are legitimate and frankly American forms of dissent and free speech, and I support both of them. I support the right of students. So you think there's a difference between the black students at Yale protesting whatever, I forget what, questionable thing that professor said, and the conservative students in this case protesting. Go ahead. Now I'll stay for this. Let's hear it.
Okay, you will hear for this. Okay, one is people trying to get a professor for saying something, trying to get a professor fired for saying something that they found offensive. Another is students. This should actually be something you would agree with when we talk about sort of hierarchy of oppression or authority. Students who don't have the authority, who don't run the system, protesting a corrupt professors union trying to boot a kid for doing the right thing. So one is trying to use the system to silence the voice, and one is kids using their voice against the system.
They're trying to get the teacher fired. That's what they're trying to do. So it's the same thing. It's the students organizing against what a teacher said. Stephen, man, I'm sorry, but you're on the wrong side on this one.
Here's the thing. They're not trying to get the teacher fired. They released the tape. They talked about this, gave the professor the airtime that she so willingly used when she thought cameras weren't recording, and now they're upset because the professors union.
I gotta go. I'm about to be in big trouble because I'm going to be late. And I do adore you, except you're on the wrong side on this one. But let's do it time. It is fun.
Incorrect, Sally. We'll have you back, and you can have that list of 5 things we agree upon. What is? Oh, hold on, Sally. Stay real quick. End card here. Just tell people to subscribe.
This is from the full show.
What?
I don't want them to subscribe to you.
Well, this end card is going up whether you like it or not. So what's happening? Hit
so
one of those boxes. Now we've already done it. People are going to subscribe because you told them not to. Reverse psychology. I did it. Now you just did it unknowingly.
I guess if I get a mug out of it.